which 6-11 upset do you guys like the most in this year's bracket? To roll through them real quick, we have BYU Duquesne in the East. We have Clemson, New Mexico in the West. We have Oregon and South Carolina in the Midwest. And it is Texas Tech and North Carolina State in the South. What do you like, Sweeney?
I mean, look, I like Oregon quite a bit. I know we kind of said it quickly on the bracket itself, but I think they're just the more talented team. And Validante, being healthy is a big deal for them. And Jackson Shelstad and some of those veteran guards alongside him are starting to play their best basketball. So I wouldn't be at all surprised if Oregon wins that game.
Yeah, you got one for me, T?
No, I'm with Sweeney on this one. I think Oregon.
Yeah, I also really Oregon's my favorite. I also really like the potential of New Mexico to beat Clemson. We talked about it filling out the bracket a little bit at length, but I think that their guards can cause a lot of problems for Clemson's guards. And like, if there is one question we have about this Clemson team, it probably is Chase Hunter and Joe Girard, specifically Chase Hunter, who has not quite been as good as he was last season and lived up to the hype that I think a lot of us expected him to have this year. And I will just throw out there, Duquesne, people think that they got overseeded. People think that they should have been like a 13, right? They're squaring off with the BYU team who shoots a ton of three-pointers in Atlantic 10 play. The best three-point defensive field goal percentage in the conference was Duquesne, 29.5%, and they were very successful at running teams off of the three-point line. Don't sleep on that. If you can make it so that BYU doesn't make their threes, they shoot more than 50% of their field goals from beyond the arc. If you can make them miss, they're not a very good basketball team. So I think that Duquesne one is one that you kind of have to keep a little bit more of an eye on. All right, this is from Fly Illini Fly. Sweeney, I'll go to you first on this one. Which number 1, 2, or 3 seed is the most likely to lose first?
I think Marquette has probably the toughest road, so I'll say them, right? You're worrying about the Kolek injury. We talked about Western Kentucky potentially being dangerous with their former high major guys, then Don McHenry, the little JUCO guard, has been phenomenal. And then if you get through, you're playing either a Colorado team that has 3 NBA players, a Florida team that is incredibly talented, just went to the SEC championship game as old guards. Tyrese Samuel's been great for them, and then the worst, the easy game, if you will, is Boise State, who finished I believe second in the Mountain West, won at Viejas just like 2 weeks ago. Like, experienced, old, tough, well coached, like you name it. So that draw is brutal for Marquette. So if they do get out of the first weekend, they'll have earned it.
Yep. Tyler, you got one for me?
Yeah, I think Marquette's kind of the same. They're my favorite to get upset early. I'm also going to say Tennessee. And a lot of people have really hyped up Tennessee, but if Dalton Connect, if he goes cold, they've also shown spurts where they can't score. Yes, they've had good defense, but also my Tar Heels, we dropped 90 on them. No overtime game. So their defense
It was 100. They put 100
holes.
Up on them.
Yeah.
It was 100.
Yeah,
100. They put 100 on them.
Yep. And so I think Tennessee could shown some vulnerabilities and they could be upset potential. But I like Marquette as my favorite.
I said this on the live stream and I survived Tyler's wrath, so I'm going to say it again here. I think if North Carolina gets Mississippi State in the second round, that is a tough draw for them because they got the big guy in Tolu Smith, who I think can match up well with Baycott and go bucket for bucket and rebound with them. And I think that their length and athleticism on the wings will be a little bit difficult. Like if there's one knock on this North Carolina team, who I love, by the way, it's that they have a backcourt that basically goes like 6 foot 6'1", right? Like Elliot Cadeau and RJ Davis are not the biggest guards, and there's a lot of big athletic wings that Mississippi State can kind of roll out there. So I think that will be a tough matchup for them. I have them losing in my bracket, but my brackets have not generally been very good. So keep that in mind. All right.